Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are here at the final interview for the summer, aren't we, Matthias?
We sure are, and boy, oh boy, do we got a treat for you.
It's the big one, as they say, and we are so happy to actually have this guest on. So who is it? Well, people can read the title.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's none other than Troma's finest, or should we say Mr. Troma himself, Lloyd
Troma.
Kaufman.
Yay, Uncle Lloyd, he visited us. Or, well, not visited us. He was courteous enough to be a guest on our little podcast, and we are very, very proud of that. Who is Lloyd? You actually already did a good presentation of him.
Other than saying Mr. Troma himself, I would say that he is the face of true independent filmmaking.
I think this was one of our goals.
Yes.
We're so happy about it, and we can't wait to share it with you. Before we go into the interview, we have a little word from Troma themselves. So, without further ado, Matthias, take us away.
Here's Lloyd Kaufman.
Welcome to the wonderful world of Troma Now, the all-new streaming service from none other than Troma Entertainment, of course.
Sequel to that that we've been shooting for quite a while. We're editing now. The sequel to All the Love You Can, and you can see. Also, I made a little 10-minute documentary. If you want to see it, it's on the free Troma YouTube channel, and it's called "From Festival to Fascism." So,
I think I saw that.
Oh, yeah. You can see the last time we went to Cannes. And I've been going there for almost 50 years, but we went there 2 years ago, and the cops beat us up and made us empty our cameras and wouldn't let the people wear Troma T-shirts. I mean, really crazy. Yet Disney had all sorts of weapons and masks that they were running around, and swords they were running around the streets with. So I get the sense that the festivals probably prefer no Troma until after I'm dead. But maybe you can get a theater or something underground or something that'll be fun, and I'll buy a ticket. Come over.
Yeah, I'm actually going to do my best to make that happen because,
Yeah.
My wife, later in the summer when the COVID is a little, when it's 100% gone. Well, I think it's going away now, but I don't know if Sweden is open to Troma. I mean, to Americans. Yes,
it would be. I think Sweden is kind of open to most things, but it's just not accepted by the industry or like the festivals.
We used to get all sorts of distribution in Sweden, but I think the industry, like in the States, is much more consolidated, so that very hard to get onto a movie screen, or the festivals, I think, need more help from the giant mega conglomerates.
The devil-worshipping conglomerates.
Well, they need, yes, exactly. But I think it's serious. I think the governments around the world are not subsidizing the festivals the way they used to. So the festivals now have to, I think, accept more movies like Godzilla versus Kong, more of that stuff. Nothing wrong with it, but it's just not. It's not art. I mean, it is art, but it's not. It doesn't need a festival.
No.
No, exactly. I think something like Troma, actually, or something smaller even, like needs the help and the push to get to the festivals. So I don't think
that's what the festivals are there for. But the Cannes Film Festival certainly didn't want us. They had their they had security men telling the police to keep us off the streets with our wonderful street theater. And you can see the documentary from festival to fascism. And again, I started to go to Cannes in 1971, sleeping on the beach. No, everybody loved it. There was a festival, the cops, police, tourists, citizens. And to this day, the citizens of Cannes are disappointed that Troma hasn't come back last year or the year before. But we're done with Cannes because of the getting manhandled by these the big security people. The cops love us. So, again, we've been doing it for a long time, but apparently the Disney crowd and the Cannes Festival is more interested in, in Parasite, which is a mediocre Korean film. The Korean cinema is the best. It's never been better, but Parasite's the wrong one. There's so many better Korean films. But this is, you have to, you got to be on the inside.
Yeah,
great. Now that you've heard all the good news from Uncle Lloyd, what do you want to talk about?
but this is why,
Matthias, nice to meet you.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, because of course we grew up on Troma. We actually did, and it was kind of odd because we grew up before DVD was widespread. So we had the VHSs, and it was so fun to receive almost worn out Toxic Avenger or Terra Firma VHS. I actually ordered a 20-year anniversary Blu-ray now, finally, of Terra Firma. So I'm so happy that I managed to get one.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Of course.
But we actually had a fun thing a while back, because this is for our podcast, of course, and we're in season 3, kind of. And yeah, thank you. And the first season.
I interrupt you for 1 second, because there was a great actor named Emil Jennings, not your name, but Emil Jennings. Did you ever hear of him?
I'm not sure, actually.
No,
he was famous in the silent films, but he did a wonderful movie with Joseph von Sternberg called The Big Laugh, about a doorman at the big hotel. Emil Jennings was like the Al Pacino of, except he wasn't a sellout. He was, more of a real actor, and in his day, kind of silent movies. I guess he did some sound films, but I don't remember. I don't think I've seen any. But at any rate, you reminded me of him.
Yeah. I just remember that I really love silent movies, and we should bring back them to the spotlight, I think, actually.
Yes. Yeah. Things like Emil Jennings, the Last Laugh with von Sternberg. You'll cry at the end. And of course, Chaplin.
Yes.
Chaplin's movies.
I think we've spotlighted Witchcraft Through the Ages and Nosferatu, but I think we can certainly spotlight even more, because I guess there's probably even better movies to see.
Fire, who was Danish, I believe, made some amazing silent films. Oh my God, they're all over the world. Fritz Lang, of course. Buster Keaton. I mean, these are geniuses, not to mention the pioneers, Lumiere and the other guy, Max Linder in France. Terrific stuff. In fact, I used a gag in the original Toxic Avenger. I borrowed a gag from Max Linder's movie. I don't remember the name of it, but it's sort of his most famous slap. Max Linder was kind of the Chaplin of France, and he had a gag, and he used swords in it, but I used guns in the gag, and it worked beautifully. It was great.
I think I know which gag you mean, and yeah, That works really well.
Circle. The hero is in the middle of a circle of bad guys, and they're all about to stab him, but he ducks or he jumps up, and they stab each other. So in Toxic Avenger, I had the circle of people with guns, bad guys with guns, and just as they're about to shoot, Toxie leaps up to a fire escape, and they shoot each other.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a good laugh.
It's such a good scene because it kind of reminds me. That's funny that you say, because it kind of reminds me of the slapstick era.
Yeah, but I mean, Troma is heavy in slaps. Everything we do. I mean, our movies are almost like, in a way, silent movies, because our acting, the acting I like is always overdone. You know, it's people going, you know, which was B.W. Griffith, right?
Yes.
Greatest of, the greatest. Died a poor drunk, unfortunately, but what a genius. And the movies are terrific. But he invented the close-up, or one of the pioneers of the close-up. So I like that overacting stuff. And so it's slapstick, you know.
Yeah, well, overacting and slapstick has been not misused. It's just underrated today.
Yes, it's rides the back of the bus, as we say. Sort of like horror. Comedy, horror, unfortunately, you sort of have to be a little boring to be accepted by the intellectual crowds, I think.
Just the fact that the Academy Awards have, what is it, a category for comedy or musical. It's it's two completely, yeah, exactly. Why not horror?
They're both genres which people don't like.
Exactly.
Don't respect. But I love musicals and I love comedies. So I'm in the business, clearly. And comedy is tough, as you can tell, because what's funny in Stockholm may not be funny in Gutenberg. And what's funny in New Jersey or New York is not funny in Italy. You know, whereas shooting somebody, everybody gets that. As long as it doesn't make fun of, like in China, they make you like the major studios are all censoring their movies to please the Chinese dictator rather. So they don't mind violence as long as it has no substance.
Exactly. We actually got censored in Japan, on Amazon Japan. We were showing Swedish Horse Movie, the other movie where I acted in, that Troma picked up, and the Japanese Amazon did not want that one at all.
They're censoring I'm on the board of our trade. I was the chairman of our trade association, the Independent Film and Television Alliance, for 8 years, I think. 4 years. And the Amazon started to tell us that they changed the titles. They don't like certain words. But the algorithm doesn't apply to their friends. You'll probably see stuff that they didn't like in your movie, but it'll be in a movie by the club, whoever's in the elite in the club that Amazon, or movies that Amazon makes, which has violence or pedophilia, all the things you're not supposed to deal with. It's okay with Amazon and Netflix if they make those movies themselves. In fact, Netflix and YouTube were promoting a pedophile movie together, yet they closed our Troma channel.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that. I was so upset.
Our fans got so angry that 3 days later, YouTube put the channel back. But now we moved all the movies to our own. 5 years ago, we moved to Troma Now. So the free Troma channel is more about opinions and the short documentary that I made and music videos, and the movies are all on Troma Now.
And
in fact, if you could promote, if you don't mind, in your website or whatever, Troma Now, watch.troma.com, and first month is free, and it's only $4.99 a month. And it's got like 1,000 different movies and documentaries. And Tromet collectibles. It's a lot of fun, and you can get a date. A lot of people meet each other.
I love that. I'm going to talk to our editor-in-chief or chief editor and see if we can actually get like a little, sponsored or ad up on the site.
Oh, that would be wonderful. We have some that are very amusing, but yet not too disgusting. We also have some that are not amusing and very disgusting. And we both have some that are amusing and disgusting. So any kind you like, we have.
Well, I personally would, prefer the really disgusting and amusing one, but I think our editor would not.
Tom can send you one. My assistant, Tom, if you think of it, either email me or Tom, and we'll be delighted to send you 30 seconds of humor, promotional Troma Now humor.
Absolutely. We'll make something happen.
Right.
And Tom was amazing setting this all up. He and John Ferry has been like the best people ever to deal with.
Wow. Yeah. So were they sober? No, I'm joking.
Well,
they're great guys, and they love movies. That's what all the people that work for us over the years. Everybody from James Gunn to the craziest underground filmmaker. They all love movies. You can have a talk with them. And you can have some fun. It's not all about who's in the movie, how much you're spending on advertising, right?
Yeah. That's actually what I love about Troma, because as you said, James Gunn began there. He wrote Romeo and Juliet, which is also one of my favorites because how he uses the manuscript and everything. Yeah. And you're like showing up in his movies now, and I respect that guy so much for that.
Well, you don't know what I had to do in order to get that cameo.
I have read your books. I have a feeling it's about no.
It's something to do with lips like a woman. No, that's not. But James is the best. Eli Roth is the best. Trey Parker is the best. Samuel Jackson, I didn't know too well, but we made his first movie. We financed his first movie. There are tons of people, and most of them who succeeded, they're great people, unfortunately, most of the people in our business are awful, but the people coming out of Troma, the ones who've done it for a year or two, or have been on an entire film through from post-production from pre-production to post-production, they always love it, and I'm always amazed that they, 30 years later, I get contacted by people who I thought I had, created new assholes for. I was yelling and screaming, and you can see those documentaries, right? Like Poultry in Motion. And
oh yes,
have you seen any of those?
Oh yeah, I think I've seen Farts of Darkness, Poultry in Motion, All the Love You Can, and
Good.
Apocalypse Soon.
Well, there's a new one that came out with Return to Nukem High. No, Return to Nukem High. There are two parts to this movie, Return to Nukem High. The second Blu-ray has the documentary called Two Girls, One Duck. And again, they're all wonderful documentaries, worth a year of film school. And they're funny and sad and emotional and unvarnished truth. But you can see that I'm yelling at people and, get crazy. But they all have this there are people who've walked out after a couple of days, like who's the guy who wrote Backside, what was it called? The cowboy movie with the gay guys.
Brokeback Mountain.
What? Yeah, Backside. Broke Backside Mountain. He worked for us for like 2 days and ran away. And a good guy. He's a good guy. He just didn't care. He wanted to be more, he didn't care for our approach. But anyone who's been there for a couple of months to a couple of years, they love Troma. And when I've been on the set of James Gunn's, either the Guardians or the other one, the new one, Suicide Squad, yes. All the stars, they grew up with Troma. I keep saying to them, well, why don't you do a little more, help us get somebody to answer our telephone calls. It's my 50th year. Nobody cares. I don't exist. You guys care.
Of course.
say everybody, but the New York media, they don't. It's 50 years making movies in New York. I've been and Michael Hers and I. We own our building. We pay real estate taxes. We have a bunch of employees who would normally be on welfare if they didn't work for us. I mean, what I've written 7 books, all these movies, and the wonderful people that have been birthed by Troma, yet nobody gives a shit. It's all about Black Widow. And I'm sure that's great. Hopefully she's black. Is Black Widow black? I don't know.
No, I think she's white, oddly enough, actually.
Yeah, I
Because the
think
main
so.
Black Panther is black, so
That's going to be a problem. Crazy.
I actually haven't seen any of those.
Talking too much. You go ahead.
No. I love that you talk. We're so happy that you're so talkative, because we usually like to have a conversation going more than, and how did you feel making this picture? We just want to talk. If you have any questions for us, just ask away and we gladly answer.
Well, thank you for promoting the background. I see the beautiful Make Your Own Damn movie book and some wonderful Troma hard, what do they call it? Hard goods.
Yes, the physical media, hard goods. It's like
You know English better than I do. Yeah, physical media. That's
well, it's kind of important. It's not all of them actually, but I don't know. I've been moving and stuff.
Thank you so much. It had to be. Can you get them from Amazon in Sweden, or does it cost a lot of money?
It costs a lot of money, because when you told me about the return to Newcomb High, the documentary on there, we actually, just before we began doing this, we tried to find both of those movies on Blu-ray in Sweden, and it doesn't.
Yeah, we have no distribution. It's only Troma. We're the only distributors of our movies. So if we can create some kind of little event that might possibly pay for my airfare, even if it doesn't, I can come over and bring you all the new releases, new directors who I think, like Mercedes the Muse, who has some movies on Troma now, but I just produced her latest film. I think it's really, really good. Tom loves it. And I think, and then we've got some other new ones, which I can bring you. So maybe if you can create a nice event, and we'll show your movie and hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm Scandinavian premiere.
Oh, that would be so great. Wait, Matthias, we're gonna have to pull some really good strings now.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you the same thing.
But I think we can actually.
Yeah,
we can. The theater can. Usually in the States, I get a small number of theaters if I direct, and because I usually make money. So, usually we get half the money from the ticket sales, but I don't need to. Just maybe I can sell some merchandise in the lobby of the theater, out in the street.
They actually, the theater I have in mind actually do that kind of things.
Good.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. That'd be great. You guys are great, and you're making wonderful films. And what led you to make Unplanned Parenthood?
Actually, that was kind of a fun story. I'm gonna make it really short, because it's actually a part of a pretty damn failed anthology.
Excellent.
Yeah, but it was like a nightmare making it, and it, bad weather, everything that can go wrong, went wrong. It's dubbed because I didn't get the time to fix the audio on location, so I just said, fuck it, let's dub it.
Good.
So yeah, I got asked to write something, kind of just really tasteless and gory, but I never really want to make something just tasteless and gory. So I tried to find like a kind of an angle with some kind of point. Mm-hmm. And the abortion issue has been like, for me, it's just like, why is this an issue? still. I don't get it. So that's what I did.
Yeah, good.
I remember you mailing like an apology email because of the issues with the sound during Troma Dance, I think.
The second day, there was an issue with the projector. No, with the sound engineer, didn't show up. Sound engineer, and the guy took a hike, so we had to get on.
Yeah,
somehow a religious radio station, an ultra religious, those extreme religion radio station. Somehow it blasted into the projector. So we got the movies plus a lot of talk about Jesus, which didn't really work together, as you can imagine.
Now I kind of want to make a different audio track with just like Jesus praising for Unplanned Parenthood. Exactly.
Anyway, one of the filmmakers got very upset, but what can you do? These things happen. We had an incident at the Cannes Film Festival where they showed, this goes back to the first Turn On, which we made, I think, 1983 or 82.
Okay.
Vincent D'Onofrio's first movie, and the one that Michael Hers turned down Madonna for.
That's right.
Another smart move by Troma. At any rate, the theater at the Cannes Film Festival, they showed the movie out of order. They put the reels in the wrong order, and I was ready to blow my brains out. But we made a really big deal for England. It was the best deal we ever made for British distribution. So you never know.
Hey.
Sometimes things go better when it's all fucked up.
Well, that's the fun thing, actually, because
so you thought you enjoyed the idea of some social commentary with your effort.
I really try to always put something in it. Otherwise, I kind of feel it's not useless to make something without a point, but for me, it feels.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, because like all the movies you have directed have always had some kind of social commentary.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoy that.
Yep.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the American director Samuel Fuller?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was kind of independent, but his movies were mainly released through Fox, I think. But he was a big fan of Troma's War, and we became friendly around that time. But I always loved his films from the time I was at Yale University, and the Film Society screened, China Gate and House of Bamboo and Shock Corridor. And, we saw those on a big screen. And he was a newspaper man, and he took a lot of his themes came from the headlines, things like Shock Corridor, which is about a lunatic asylum, and another one, South Street. What was it? Something on South Street with. Again, these are 50-year-old movies, and they're about a newspaper business. It's really interesting, and I think I was heavily into his kind of mixing journalism with narrative.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused why more directors or filmmakers overall haven't done that, really.
Well, so many people, unfortunately, they believe that movie history began in 1977.
Yeah.
Deep Throat. I mean, with Star Wars, I mean, people, I was friendly with Blockbuster, never supported us, never took one movie from us. But I was friendly with the buyer for Blockbuster, who tried to make one movie in which I played in with Brink Stevens, kind of a horror film. Pretty good. But he insists this is the buyer for Blockbuster. When Blockbuster was at its height, this guy really believed that movie history didn't begin till Star Wars. And he believed it. It wasn't like he was, talking bullshit, trying to get me upset. He really believed that. And that's the problem. I've lectured at film schools, and like USC, University of Southern California, they don't understand the idea of art. It's an art form. They understand that they want to walk the red carpet. There's another one in Florida, a private for-profit film school called, it's great too. I mean, they've got a back lot that rivals 20th Century Fox, called Free Sale, I think it's called. And I kept getting the same question. Well, Mr. Kaufman, why aren't you interested in $60 million movies? And they didn't understand the fact that I'd rather do something that I believe in and that I can have freedom. And I'm not interested in stars, because when you see a movie star, it's all about the star. And, I want people immersed, the people who star in our movies, they look like real people. And if they can act, which occasionally they can, the audience will believe them as a genuine student, even if they are a high school student, even if they are 45 years old.
Wasn't that like the thing with the Blob, the original?
Yes.
He was like 30 or 40, but he played a teenager, and it worked.
Yes. The Blob is great.
Oh, yeah.
And they were going to remake it. There were plans to remake the Blob like 3 or 4 years ago, but
wasn't Rob Zombie involved in remaking it or something like that? Yeah,
I don't know, but that was pretty good. Yeah.
I think so.
I think it would have made it great.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Sure, that'd definitely be an interesting. Just the idea of the Blob,
right? Yeah. Well, because movies like that, I love when movies like The Blob gets remade, because that's actually movies that can be remade. Yes. And work and capture the current era.
Yes.
The 50s, the 80s, and now we need one for the 2020s.
I agree with certain ones. They're remaking the Toxic Avenger, the same legendary films, and they chose a very young, exciting director. He has only directed one movie, but it's a good one, a very original, a small film. And he's written some good ones like Green Room and Murder Party and... never can remember the name of the movie. Macon Blair is his name. And he gets it. He knows better Troma than I do. I mean, he's seen every movie, knows every detail, and he's going to do a great job. I read the script, and I've read I read the final version of the script just 2 days ago. It's better than the original script of Toxic Avenger. And right now, Macon Blair is in the good country of Bulgaria, where they're going to shoot, and he's getting locations, and they've got a cast. They've announced that they're using the guy from the series
Game of Thrones.
Yes, yeah,
Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage. Yes, he's going to be the Toxic Avenger.
Interesting.
Isn't that the daring cat? And so they got a dwarf, and they got a beautiful black woman to play one of the major female roles. Okay. And they got a beautiful young boy from Canada named Adam Tremblay, who's in, I think, a series called Boys, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I'd never seen him in anything, but got a great reputation. And so far, nobody can complain about the hashtag Hollywood Too White, because they got a nice, diverse cast so far. And they're putting in an old actor. I'm not allowed to talk about it. I don't think it's been all buttoned up yet. But they got an old actor and another one that... anyway, they got a nice, interesting, courageous cast. And the movie will be R-rated. So they'll be able to have all the beautiful special effects that we have had. Or not that we've had, but maybe better ones. And I think it's going to be a good sequel.
It sounds like it, because they kind of get it.
Well, he gets it for sure. Macon gets it. And he asked me. He's polite enough to ask me for notes. That's pretty nice. And I think it's going to be great. I just, unless they cancel it, today, this very day, AT&T, a telephone company who owns Warner Brothers, they have announced that they're going to take Warner Brothers, part of the telephone company, and combine it with a company called Discovery, who have a lot of nonfiction stuff.
Whoa.
It's a big company, but obviously Warner's is bigger. But Warner's is the distributor for Legendary. So who knows what happens with the new, it's such a crazy business. So let's hope it keeps going.
Indeed.
Yeah, I've been really worried about the remake, actually, because you never really know what's going on.
Yeah.
So, but I'm very happy to hear it.
In this case, we did get delayed by the pandemic. The financiers, Legendary, used a clause in our contract called, it's a French word. If there's a giant emergency, like an earthquake or a flood or a majeur or a cause majeure.
Yeah.
Cause majeure or something majeure.
Force majeure.
What is it?
I think it's force majeure.
Yeah, I think you're right. I forget got mental, LSD problems. But I took a lot of acid in the 60s, so the brain's starting to retreat. But the point is that they had to, put that clause into effect when COVID came. So another 18 months of delay. But he's over there now. Again, they've got this. Sounds like they're going to start shooting if nothing crazy happens June 21st.
Ooh.
So I think I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I think it's going to be really good, unless there's some terrible bad luck or I think I know it will be good if they leave the director alone. And every time I talk to the big guys, I mean, again, Michael Hers and I are the producers, but the money talks. They leave Macon alone. He's doing his own thing, and occasionally I send him some suggestions, which he's very polite about.
I think that's the best way to really capture the spirit of something that you're remaking.
And retro is kind of popular now, and I've been doing this for 50 years and getting nowhere. So how nice that Uncle Lloyd might get a few. And Michael Hers, Troma is 47 years old, and this is my 50th year in making failed cinema. So, it shows you that what Woody Allen says, success is 88% just showing up.
That's actually very true.
Correct, because he is fucking his daughter, but,
I've actually always been a bit like iffy.
A lot of great artists out there. Right?
Yeah.
Them beat up people. Picasso, he beat up women. Howard Hawks. God knows what Ingmar Bergman did, right? He was a tough dude.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot of inner demons going on.
Sorry, say that. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
A lot of inner demons going on in that head. Oh
my God, yeah. It's a great documentary. And I think Agnes Varda is the director of this documentary about Ingmar Bergman. She just died recently, and it's terrific, very good, and very even keeled, but does mention, like you say, results of some of the demons.
But that's kind of what if we get back to your documentaries, I really love that when you make a documentary about your own process or the whole filmmaking, it would be easy to paint oneself in a better light, and you really show it. You show everything.
Yeah, we have young people who really enjoy the behind the scenes. We usually have at least two people shooting behind the scenes at the same time, and they love it when there's truth. Yes. Right? # truth and love. The people, that's kind of the Troma mantra. And James Gunn and I discussed this a long time ago. hashtag truth and love. But when you go to the hashtag, nobody cares. There's nobody on that hashtag. They
You're
rather
gonna start using it.
prefer money and love, or money and hate, or something. Money and negativity, money and Twitter hate, and Twitter bait. That's you
That's
get more over the hashtag for Twitter hate than you do for Twitter love. Sad but true.
Very. Oh, I'm sad now.
But
yes.
Love is I guess you through life. Here I am. I'm 75 years old, and the same wife for 75 years. Same Michael Hers. We've been doing what we want, getting nowhere, but you like it, and
Yes.
the kind of love we do get from our fans is real. It's not bought like an Oscar. An Oscar is bought. The more you advertise, the better chance you have of getting an Oscar. The more you're in the club. I mean, look at the movies they chose this year. I tried to watch. Oh my God! That one night in Miami was. I wouldn't even accept that in a high school movie. And there was another one I saw that the one with the woman, a very attractive woman. I can't remember her name, but it was like a woman of promise or something.
Promising Young Woman.
Yeah. I mean, okay, it was all right. She was very good, but I mean, come on, as Biden says, come on. There's nothing original. There's nothing. I can't even remember it. And I imagine it's like a Prosecco. You can drink it and it's light and doesn't, but you're not going to remember it. It's not like a good, solid dose of
cocaine. I don't know. But it's actually very true, because I haven't watched really anything. Well, I have watched the movies that got nominated during the. Huh?
Were there any that you liked?
Not really. I really like the more genre festivals that kind of pick something like Seder.
Like what?
There was a movie called Seder. It was like one guy making the movie all of it on his own. Seder,
like the Jewish Passover Seder, the beautiful Jewish dinner?
I think it's more like the goat demon Seder.
Yeah, I'm joking. Seder.
No, thank you. Seder.
I was joking. That's great. And I think I've heard about that movie. I haven't seen it. But that's great that you liked it. Cool.
Yeah.
I'll go look for it.
It's kind of like, I really don't know. I saw it on like Amazon, I think.
Could be.
There's so many streaming services now. I have.
Yeah. No, I've heard it. I have heard about it.
Yeah, and it kind of reminds me of Josh Stifter, who made The Good Exorcist and Greywood's Plot.
Right. Yeah, he's a good friend of ours, and he did some CGI for hashtag Shakespeare's Shitstorm. He did Josh Sifstorm did some work on Shitstorm, and he also recently, very generously, did work for Mercedes the Muse on our movie that she directed called Divide and Conquer. And he's a talented dude and very hardworking.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Because he's making a movie on his own now called Scumbag, and
yes, that's right.
Mm-hmm. It's so cool.
I think I have a cameo in that. I'm not sure. Ooh. I certainly want one, but I don't know whether I made it. But I can't remember. But I know it's in the works. Yeah.
Yeah, because we actually saw Tom was very nice enough to send us a screener of hashtag Shakespeare's Shitstorm.
Good.
Mm-hmm. And as soon as like his animations came up, I had to point and yell. I know this.
You did.
Style, isn't that great? Wow, yes. Good. That's great. That shows you how talented he is.
Yeah, and that movie was insane. Like in the best way possible, because you talked about having sometimes you have great actors that actually can act. I don't think you have had that great of an actor or actresses in a long while. Well, of course, that feels like I'm putting down other people, but I really enjoy the acting in hashtag Shakespeare's shitstorm.
We had the most devoted cast and crew that I've ever had. Everybody was just 100% locked onto making a good movie. Mm-hmm. And I swear, Kate McGonigal, the one woman who played Miranda, she is so talented. And
she was great. I loved her.
Hilarious. And he too, Aaron Miller, who played Fernando. What the hell?
Ferdinand? Yeah.
Whatever the boy is. He also is funny as hell. Is it Fernando? No, not Fernando.
Ferdinand.
Ferdinand. Yeah, sorry, Ferdinand. Fernando is the director of Mutant Blast, Fernando Ale.
Which I'm looking forward to.
It's a good one. It's terrific. And it's on Troma now. We're working on the DVD. On the Blu-ray. Takes us a long time. And I think he's making he directed it and we shot it all in Portugal, in the Portuguese language. So first Troma movie shot in Portuguese language. And the Portuguese government gave us about half the budget too, more than half the budget. So how cool is that? The American government, all they do is give advantages to the conglomerates. They don't help the independents. Unless you're really, really, really politically correct, then you might get some, help from, or if you're like very intellectual, or you can do interpretive dancing or that kind of stuff. But if you're making something that's truly original, they don't give a shit.
Oh.
Portugal likes us. What do you think of that? Government, no less.
That's amazing. That's great. Actually opens up for a lot of filmmakers, actually. That's great.
Are you going to start filming in Portugal?
Like Bulgaria, Albania. We filmed part of hashtag Shakespeare's Shitstorm in Albania. First American company to do that. And now other companies are coming in. Much bigger movies are coming to Albania because, as you know, the mainstream producers are not the most courageous. They don't want to go over to Albania and then have to return. But we had a great crew. We had great, wonderful. We needed a giant boat, which they gave us. It was terrific. We got all sorts of wonderful things from them, and a great crew. Only one guy didn't speak English. They all of them were young and had seen Troma movies, bootlegs, of course. And there was one older guy who didn't speak English, but he looked like Dustin Hoffman, so he's okay.
That's good enough.
Experience 8 days. We were in Albania for 8 days, and God bless them. And now they're getting movies. They got one that was about a $5 million budget. And from what I understand, there are other big movies in the same way that Bulgaria and Romania started to attract movies so that they can create jobs.
That's great. Why can't Sweden do that?
Yeah.
Well, we don't seem interested in. Well, Sweden helps local filmmakers, don't they?
A bit, depending on what they want to do and if they're politically correct.
Yeah, and whether or not it depicts the town in a good way, I think, as well.
Yes.
Oh, that's the problem.
Yeah, it really is.
I interviewed Alain Tavernier for one of my books. He told me that, this is a guy who just died, by the way. He was about 80 years old. When I interviewed him, it was about 10 years ago. He's a major French filmmaker. I mean, some of his movies are classics. And he told me he has the same problem with getting a movie financed in France because the elite government private sector, if you're not really in the club, he says even though he's made some award-winning movies and commercially successful movies, like Around Midnight about jazz and, successful narrative movie, commercially success. He says every time he goes to do one, it's harder than ever. Again, everybody wants Star Wars or, whatever. Club, you have to really the politics are very, very important. And fortunately, I'm not, except, I haven't done that. And big mistake. I regret it that I wasn't a little more pleasant with people in the mainstream. I regret it.
I can understand that, but I still respect what you did and how you did it.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
I got no complaints. Been very lucky. Good wife, friends like you, fans like you, and same partner. I've been very, very lucky. So, knock on wood, I won't die like the famous. There's a famous the first white banjo player in the United States. Gottschalk was his name, like the German TV host who was so famous for a while. May still be famous, Thomas Gottschalk. But the banjo player's name was Gottschalk, and he was giving a concert, and he wrote a composition for banjo called Death, and he was playing to the audience, and he died playing that composition. So, took it too literally, but nobody's going to forget that performance.
No.
I could do it right now. At 75 years old, I can go at any minute. But I've been very lucky. I do have. I'm not like Edith Piaf. Je regrette beaucoup. I don't. She says, "Je ne regrette rien." I regret beaucoup. Believe me.
Nice. I'm actually so happy hearing you say that. It's no regrets. Yes. Well,
thank you.
Of course. This is like, I've been wanting to do this for a long time. It's like, sit down and talk with you. Just being able to do this, I'm very thankful for it.
Well, I'm thankful for your respect and your art. And what recently have you guys seen, Emil and Matthias, that you've liked? Anything, either series or movies or
I've seen a show called Love, Death, Robots on Netflix, and I Love, Death, and Robots.
Robots.
Yeah, it's kind of a animated science fiction anthology series, and it's very mixed. Sometimes it's a horror episode, and sometimes it's more of a comedic episode, and sometimes it's more of a thriller. It's
animated.
It's animated. I think it's 1 or 2 live action episodes actually, but mainly animated, and it's actually pretty good. I like it. And the episodes are, I think every episode is under 20 minutes long. So they are.
Can't wait to try it tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, do that. I really enjoy it. The second season recently hit as well, so it's a good time to strike if you like it. It's a lot of.
You say you can see it on Pornhub. What did you say?
Netflix.
I regrets.
I would love if it were available on Pornhub, though.
I always have to make jokes, and my father always criticized my brother Charles, who made Mother's Day. He always said to us, you guys always have to be wise guys. Get serious.
Yeah.
Why? I like you
for tonight. Love, Death, and Robots sounds terrific.
Yeah.
Anything else that you stands out for you?
Also recently saw, I think it's a Blumhouse film called Freaky with Vincent Vaughn. It's kind of a take on Freaky Friday. It's a teenage girl who swaps bodies with a serial killer. And they have 24 hours to make the swap back, otherwise it's permanent. And it's really fun. Everybody's having a good time, and it's really over the top violent as well.
What who directed, do you know?
I don't remember, but I have Google right here, so I can check it out pretty fast. So let's see here. Christopher Landon.
Name sounds familiar, but I don't know what.
Yeah, he's done Happy Death Day to You. To You, the sequel, I think it is, Some Paranormal Activity. He wrote The Marked Ones, and he wrote Scott's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, apparently.
Boy. That was a good one.
Yeah.
He must write his own scripts, I guess, huh?
Yeah, precisely. He directed it as well. So
I submitted hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm script to, and I met with Blum. A nice guy, good guy. I knew him. He used to be work for Miramax before he became successful, and all his staff loved the hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm. But he told me he has to do something more mainstream. So I guess Freaky is more mainstream.
I think so.
Do they have any stars? Or?
It has Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn, yeah.
Big deal.
I think he's the biggest name, and I honestly don't think they need any other than.
They probably don't need him either, but he's a talented dude.
Yeah.
And speaking of cartoons, he's one of the producers on a French cartoon, but it's in English, called F is for Family.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
Yeah, isn't that great? I know.
Yeah.
I love it. The father hates the kids. It's took place in the 1970s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Great. Pathé, produced by Pathé, and American comedian is, I think, the showrunner, but Vince Vaughn's one of the producers. And Vaughn is involved in all these great projects, so good for him.
He's done a lot of good things the last couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Clearly got a good head on his shoulders. Good for him. Yeah. Gotta like him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, probably I unfortunately have another Zoom in about 3 minutes.
All right.
If you would like to do another chapter, just ask Tom, and I can.
That would be great.
Yes, we would love to.
Yes,
I really enjoyed it. It's wonderful, and thank you so much.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
I'll forget, but if you can remind me or Tom to send you a 30-second promo for Troma Now, that would be wonderful. We'd greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Maybe we can curate a Troma weekend. Maybe you can curate, one night of abortion movies and another night with the hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm and another filmed Emil Jennings.
Yeah, I'm going to do my best to make that happen because that sounds so much fun.
Yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be crazy.
Yeah. Going to make a big event of it.
Or show them all in one night. Make everybody stay up till 6 a.m.
I would do that for that event. Otherwise, I'm dead after like 8.
Anybody who stays till the end, we give them, we'll give them something. Action figure or something that might be worth something.
Just having that night would be worth it.
Come and say a quick hello. My wife, by the way, was here she is, the producer, now the producer of, one of the producers of hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm. Here she is.
So great to see you as well.
Yeah.
4-hour run. Sorry, Pat Kaufman.
Whoa, what's going on back here?
You've got the monkey is on your back. She was commissioner for New York State movies, entertainment for 20 years, appointed by both Republican and Democrat governors. And she created an incentive here whereby if you make a movie in New York State, you receive 1/3 of your budget in cash. So all these studios have been built now. There are 10 new studios, $3 billion worth of jobs. Am I correct, Commissioner?
8 billion.
8 billion.
Well, they spend $8 billion. Not all of that is jobs, but a lot of it.
I'm blocking you along. And also movies like the $200 million Spider-Man comes to New York instead of Toronto. And, a lot of, really it changed the world for New York State.
Yes, it is.
And finally she retired and is one of the producers of #Shakespeare Shitstorm and changed the New York filmmaking world.
And Shakespeare's sister must have spent at least $7 billion.
Yeah, well, I think we did. We hired 3,000 Boer War soldiers for big spear throwing scene.
Big deal. Bye.
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 We're actually so happy that she showed up because we sometimes talk about Pat as well, but we always call her the commish.
Oh, they love the commercial. Everybody loves the commercial. So, well, maybe if something happens. If you guys set something up, the commercial will come over. We can do a little master class, make your own damn movie master class. We can do it all. So it'd be fun.
Oh, yes. Oh, we're certainly going to try our best because that would be amazing.
Anyway, I better go because I'm late for this other thing.
Yes.
So all time, we'll do it again. Keep going.
I would love it. Yes. Thank you so much for showing.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Emil and Matthias. Cheers.
Cheers.
Tack så mycket.
Yes, exactly.
Don't you just hate when that happens? Worry no more. Watch all your favorite gory, loud, extreme, scarlet and juicy films online. Just grab your phone, tablet or computer and a bloody good snack and log on to watch.troma.com and just enjoy.
That's just awkward.
Yeah, maybe we went on a bit too long, but I loved it. Yay! Yay! I'm so covered in stuff.